You folks have been listening to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm Tobey LaRoche here with Mark Sherry and Steve Rodgers of Tiny Bunker Studios. So I am excited that we just heard a song from Liz Reed called Maybe Kind of World. And before that, we had Frank Viele, Move Over. Starting with Liz Reed's tune, is such a cute little tune about self-discovery and some really beautiful strings on there, lovely vocal harmonies. What can you tell us about Liz and this tune in the process?
I don't want to almost count the years that I've known a lot of the people on the playlist because it'll make me feel older than I actually am. You know, Liz Reed, you know, she's a teacher and a professional musician, and also part of the whole, you know, Bigger Beast record staff. And when she approached me about coming in to record, I was delighted to have that experience to record with her. And she brought Brian Titus in to play strings. She was like, Brian Titus is coming in. I was so excited about that too, because he's, you know, another Connecticut artist that I just love. And, you know, I think that her songs are really sweet. She's got a lot of songs coming down the pipe that really talk about a lot of things that are going on in the world that aren't great. And I think she's just shining love and light into the world with her tunes. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah, Liz Reed out of Woodstock, Connecticut, and now lives in Central Connecticut, I guess.
Yeah.
I really like your arrangement on this tune.
I didn't have much to do with the arrangement, but I love working with people on it. And you know, she kind of came in with a good idea of what she wanted to do. On this one, I think a lot of what I ended up doing, I may have played guitar or something on this. I can't remember at the moment, to be honest. I should open up some of these files as I look at this. I always forget whether I played instruments on people's stuff. You know, I have to go back and refer to the files again. You know, I just want to do whatever matches the song all of the time. And when somebody brings something in and they have a pretty clear picture of what they want, you know, I think I mentioned this earlier in the show, and that's, you know, I just want to help them to realize their vision. And that doesn't always require me interjecting any of myself into it.
Are the harmonies in here her like double tracking her voice, or is there somebody singing with her?
She may very well have done that. Sometimes I'll add harmonies to people's stuff, and I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so I'll often add guitar or bass or percussion or keyboard or lap steel or pedal steel, you know, and I play a variety of different things, and just always try to match up with what they're going for.
This is a very heartfelt song, I felt, and her voice, I think, is just spot on for the vibe that she was, you know, trying to create.
Absolutely, and she's got some great ones coming right on down the pipe.
Great. Speaking of great ones, we started out with Frank Viele with Move Over. And Frank is from Hamden, Connecticut. Now he's ensconced up in the quiet corner of Connecticut, up near Putnam, Connecticut. Frank is just an amazing artist. He's a multi-award winning artist. The New England Music Awards, he's had so many of them, he probably has filled up a room with his awards. He's been Independent Artist of the Year, Male Performer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year twice. He's had Album of the Year twice, which has never been, you know, had anybody else do that before. He's had Song of the Year, Live Act of the Year, and has an amazing resume, including a song called Broken Love Song, which we actually have on our Essential Western New England Songbook as one of the best songs ever written by artists from Western New England. And in that song, he actually has great guitarist Joe Bonamassa also join him on guitar.
I recall that track. Now, I've known Frank Viele for a very long time. And, you know, he, as a young guy, was playing at my music venues a whole bunch. And, you know, we had many a late night chat with the doors to the restaurant closed up. And we would talk about the greater meaning of life in the music industry and where things were going with it. Frank is one of the hardest working guys in the independent music world. And he is sharing all of his, you know, sharing all the things that he's garnered along the way by, you know, starting off Bigger Beast Records, you know, which a year and a half ago, you know, was a concept. And within a year and a half, he's really brought into full fruition some you know, something really great that has really helped, you know, a whole bunch of artists, and, you know, has done a lot of socially active things for different communities with his 21 songwriters and different fundraisers such as Shelter from the Storm, which is happening here in Connecticut and coming up. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. But yeah, Frank Viele, he really cares, about trying to bring a music community together that quite honestly has been a bit fractured since COVID, in my opinion. And it's had a fracture in it for a while, but I saw the fracture kind of get worse, after COVID. And I think it's really important for artists of all genres to go and support those other, in their communities. When I was a venue owner, I would book what I used to call Unite the Scene shows, which would be, bands of all different genres on the show. But I really thought, based on knowing who the bands were, who they were as people, and who their crowd were, that their different crowds would understand each other and lots of new friends would be made. And I think Frank Fiele's kind of carrying part of that torch along, trying to unite, a music scene that really, needs some central focal points, and some people making things happen, such as Frank.
Yeah. And, Frank has been working with us at New Music Alliance. We've done now we'll be doing our second 21 Songwriters Western New England event, which you participated in back in April. And we're doing another one coming up this April, on April 4th in Springfield, Mass, at a new venue called 52 Sumner. We really enjoy working with Frank. As you said, he's got a big heart, and he feels like besides his own career, he wants to try to bring along other songwriters and put focus on their music and their careers as well. So and that's what his company is all about. And we're actually going to be doing a singer-songwriter series as well with Bigger Beast Records up in Westfield, Mass, at a new listening room that we're creating at a place called Bright Ideas Brewing in Westfield, Mass. So that'll be a monthly series.
Hope I'll get to join in on one of those. That sounds great.
So this particular song, though, is such a personal song. And that's one thing that Frank is able to do in his songwriting. He's able to sort of bring you along and share his innermost feelings and make you feel like you're part of that experience. And to me, that's one of the songwriter's biggest goals, I think, is to be able to do that and bring you into their song. And he does that. He really does.
With a nice little assist from those beautiful bowed strings.
Also, I think Brian Titus.
Yes.
We had Brian Titus in on a couple occasions, and Brian's just such a good egg.
Yeah, this is a simple song, and it just sounds great.
Awesome. Yeah, he wrote it. We had a challenge where we needed to write songs about a dog in a doggy shelter, and that was his. Good on him.
Well, we've got a couple of cool tunes coming up next. We have one by Inner Groove, and we're starting out with Romer doing The American Condition.